You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the same.
Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. It is Friday Junior. Welcome, everybody. Kirkenstein's Monster, Bruno, John Lithium, Donald Doug. Welcome, everybody. What is this band? I've been meaning to ask. She gets stuck in my head all the time. This is actually Stream Beats. It is a it is specific music for copyright-free stuff to be used on stream. It's by a guy named Harris Heller, like this. And the name of the song, or at least the last song is called Fjord, and then the one before that is called Never Be the Same. No problem. And incidentally, the background music is the same thing. It's Stream Beats, but lo-fi. He made lo-fi, and it's a rotating shuffle of about 584 songs that are just kind of in perpetual rotation. I suspect it would take us a minute to go through all of them, but yeah. No problem. We made it, folks. We made it. Moanep, welcome. Welcome. Meow. Alright, folks. We're gonna take it easy today. And try to get through some of this stuff. It's the weekend, folks, basically. The weekend, we made it. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store. Hit the exclamation mark tip. Substack, Discord, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Check out this space every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, it appears there's an issue with the Restream bot. No matter, I'll refresh it. 1 second, folks. Okay. Yeah, check out the merch store. Look at that. There it is. Tip, Substack, Discord, folks. That's a big one. And check out my show on this space. Hey, Amanda, how's it going? Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Let's get started, folks. Obviously, today we're going to start with a very important topic, and obviously the most marginalized class, gamers.
If you're not plugged into gaming news, which I suspect is most of my audience, these last couple of weeks have been wild because Xbox, which is owned by Microsoft, for those who don't know, they are currently imploding because they announced a 50% price hike.
Yeah, just to be clear, like I am one of those gamers. Okay, I am a gamer just like you, Mike. And I too am incredibly pissed that Xbox has decided that the Game Pass Ultimate is going to be $30 a month. Okay. There's no way I'm paying that. Sorry, folks. I'm downgrading my subscription effective whenever it changes on November to the middle tier, which is like less than half of that. I'm pretty sure Mike has more gamers in his audience than he gives himself credit for. Yeah, I mean, hello, gamer here. Super gamer over here. But yeah, I'm well aware that Game Pass, that the shenanigans Microsoft is doing here. I never had Game Pass. I mean, it's like it was a pretty decent like deal, because you could stream your games. I used to play my games using this controller that I would, stick my phone in like this, and then with Game Pass, you could just stream it on the internet. But yeah, it's basically for the convenience. Bipedal Meatbag, welcome. I don't even have an Xbox now. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of stuck in that ecosystem. Other than just outright buying the games. So that could be the new way to go. Basically, Xbox and Steam are my two main ones besides GOG, or Good Old Games. I pay for PS Plus and Nintendo Online. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do Nintendo Online and Game Pass at $30. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. PlayStation's raised their prices too. Yeesh. Welcome, So Life. So many people are canceling their Microsoft subscriptions that it DDoS the site. Yep. Gaming subscriptions are like lighting money on fire. To a degree, yes. Yes. And again, I should play the lottery. What, you made it? You made it just in time? Nice. Welcome, Mayhem Hippie. I pay $40 a year. Nope, I can't do it. F Nintendo, they'll never get another dollar from me. Yeah, and Xbox is heading that same route. Xbox is moving in that direction. I just buy the games. I think like eventually, if they keep pushing, that's eventually what I'm just gonna end up doing. It's not like I play like every single like new release. Okay, I don't. I've got a massive backlog that I eventually will end up getting to. I have a lot of old games, and by old I mean like from the 2000s. And let's just not do any math here. But the point being is, I have like I'm literally playing through Kingdom Hearts. Okay, Kingdom Hearts was like from 2001 ish. Yeah. So I'm doing Kingdom Hearts right now. I've beaten Stellar Blade. I'm doing the second run. I mean, the latest. That's probably one of the most recent games that I have. That's probably one of the most recent games I have is Stellar Blade, and Halo Infinite. But Halo Infinite came out a couple years ago already. If there was a way I could convert my Steam purchases to GOG purchases, I would. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wish they made something like that, because I kind of prefer GOG in the sense that you actually own that file. You actually own that file that you can download, you can copy and save as many times as you want. You can keep that .exe file, that installation file, forever and a half. Even if GOG would be gone tomorrow, you could still, install the game without anything once you download and save that file. I have Fallout 3 from GOG, which is another old game that I have yet to complete. I started it. Ladybug, welcome. But yeah, I'm well aware, and I'm also very angry. It's gonna end up like that. It's gonna end up the way of people sailing the high seas, as some folks put, or just like not buying from Steam. Like I like Steam, by the way. I like Steam as a platform. It just makes everything easy. So those are like my two main platforms because it's all there. The majority of library is all there. Xbox and Steam. But capitalism is gonna capitalism, and now it's getting really, really bad. Steam pulled a Pokemon with Guns game, I think. I wonder if it'll work with the open installation. I mean, if you have the installer file, I think it would be okay. As long as it's not like through Steam, I think. Or if you already have it installed, it should be fine. I seem to remember getting lost a lot in Kingdom Hearts 1 for some reason, maybe lack of a minimap. I mean, the beginning is a little bit rough, but once you get like past like the first level or two, then it's like you kind of get into the rhythm. And I just made it through Halloween Town, which is my favorite world. Yeah, it's all uphill from there. It just gets smoother the more you play it. Then it's on to Kingdom Hearts 2. I get my indies from Steam because they're always there in early access. Yep. That's true. Yeah, Pokemon with Guns is Palworld.
For their monthly game subscription service, Game Pass Ultimate. Now, every streaming service has raised prices at this point, but usually it's by $1 or $2, which is still bad, but it's incremental. Game Pass Ultimate, however, went from being $20 a month to $30 a month, which is sad because it used to actually be a really great deal. In fact, it really was. Even $20 was kind of pushing it. Okay, $20 was kind of pushing it, but still justifiable. That being said, hey folks, you want to continue that $20 price point? Go buy Ultimate cards for $20. Okay, go buy Ultimate cards for $20, and
and keep that price as long as those $20 cards are available. You could get your monthly subscription at the same price until they run out, and then that's it. Bow out. I mean, I'm doing that as soon as as soon as all that runs out. Yeah, Nintendo was suing Power World. Nadia, I've never seen the things you're talking about, though I can figure out their video games and online video game services. Yeah, TLDR, capitalism destroying anything it touches. Companies getting greedy.
It was once cheaper than Netflix, and you were able to download and play as many games as you wanted to from their catalog, and it was really cool. So it was a consumer-friendly option for gamers who couldn't afford to cough up $60 to $70 for new release games. But now
they're like, $80. God knows how much Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. Okay, like we're talking maybe like $100 for a game. Okay, Grand Theft Auto 6 might be one of the first, if not the first game to reach triple digits. Okay. If Grand Theft Auto is $100, like I'm calling it, folks. GG's, everybody. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. Yeah, Microsoft ruined everything. $1 million.
It is one of the least consumer-friendly options that may very well lead to the death of Xbox altogether, because so many gamers were canceling their subscriptions after the announcement of this price hike that their website presumably became overloaded because of all of the cancellations. And this cost increase is directly correlated with Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Which again, capitalism. You allow these companies to consolidate and get more powerful, and shitification happens. They're expecting GTA 6 will go for $80 for the basic edition. Okay, that might be able to fly. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, how long has GTA been in production? How long has GTA been a thing? GTA 6 been a thing. I can't imagine all the money that they've sunk into this. That the game is going to be cheap. But $80, hey, $80 might be acceptable for most people. It just won't be me for a while unless it comes out like on a Steam sale in like a year or two. GTA 5 came out 10 years ago. Yeesh. $80 seems to be the new norm. Yep. It's like maybe we should overthrow the corporate lords or something. Yeah, exactly. $80 might be acceptable. It might not cause like riots, revolt from gamers. But I personally, I can wait. If GTA is taking this long, trust me, I can wait. I can wait. I can wait until it comes out on a Steam sale or something in like a year or two. Believe me.
They explicitly told the judge overseeing the merger that Game Pass prices wouldn't increase if the merger was approved. Yet, here we are. And there was one person who was warning all of us against this sort of a thing and tried to actually stop it. I'm talking about former FTC Chair Lina Khan. And back in 2021, here's what she said in general about the effects of corporate consolidation on consumers and workers.
Significant market consolidation deprives consumers, workers, and independent businesses of choice, further enabling dominant firms to engage in unfair practices. As the wave of privacy abuses in recent years has shown, market dominance often allows companies to renege on commitments, evade the law, and repeatedly violate commission orders.
Now, she was talking more broadly about mergers and acquisitions right there, but that, of course, applies to Microsoft as well, as time has proven. But I've got to say, Lina Khan is by far and away the best thing to come out of the Biden administration, hands down, because she actually tried to enforce antitrust laws for once that stop these corporations from gobbling up other corporations, because that sort of thing is extremely harmful to everybody but the corporations. I mean, just think about why that is. If you're unhappy with your internet service provider, for example, and they just raised prices by $5 a month, and you don't like that, Well, I mean, odds are you can't do nothing about it because internet service providers have a monopoly in the areas that they service. So if Comcast, say, raises the cost by like $5 a month, you kind of just have to suck it up and pay it, because if you don't, then you don't get internet. There's nobody else that you can go to. So this is happening in virtually every sector. Amazon is gobbling up companies. Most news organizations are now concentrating.
Yep, this is not just limited to gaming, but it just so happens that that's the center of the conversation. That's all. Microsoft raised prices from 30% to 100%, depending on your region, I think, which means they can lose a third to half of their subscriptions without losing a dollar. Seems dumb. Yep. We're back to paying cable prices for with all the subscriptions. I think more now. Amazon's raising all its prices. Yeah, and I mean, it's very simple. Like, people are just going to cancel. People are literally just going to cancel. Subs for gaming, watching, even Microsoft Office is a sub now. Yep, which I don't pay for. Nope. Sorry. I will use Google Docs. Rockstar never does that. Always console. I mean, eventually it does. Eventually it'll come to PC, right? Isn't the other GTAs on PC too? Eventually it will. And I can outwait. I can outlast Rockstar. Okay, I don't need GTA that bad. Like, I'm not buying a next generation console just to play GTA. I'm not gonna buy strictly console game that I can only play in one area. When I can just wait. Free software is always better. LibreOffice, don't switch a corporation for another. I mean, it's right there. Like, we all have a Google account. I used to use LibreOffice when I had Linux. I buy a $25 PS card once a month or so and hold on to them until a big new game I want comes out. Indies are always cheaper, so I don't worry too much. Yeah. So much info came out during the Albertsons Kroger case about pricing. Yep. Books are good. I read them. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Traded into the hands of just a couple of billionaires. And when it comes to Microsoft, before they acquired Activision Blizzard, which itself used to be two separate entities, they bought ZeniMax and Bethesda and Ninja Theory and Mojang Studios, which owns Minecraft and Twisted Pixel and so many other game companies. And it's amounted to what Ethan Gatch of Kotaku called the total enshittification of Game Pass. And he's right. And in response to the colossal price tag of Game Pass, Lena Khan explained on Twitter, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been followed.
Yeah, and like, you know, they also made a really, really, really big mistake by ironically putting stuff like Call of Duty, which they acquired from Activision, on Game Pass. And so therefore people weren't buying Call of Duty, they were just they were just on Game Pass. So yeah. I had to start using MS Office for works. Once I even have to share Excel sheets with larger audience. Apparently, things that render fine in Google Docs are broken when opened in Excel or Word. Oof. Yeah, I mean, I don't need it that bad because I barely use it, but I use Google Docs sometimes, not for work or anything like that. So I can just, you know, I don't need that. It's not going to affect me if I had to do something for work or anything like that. That's the difference. Now, if you need it, you need it, right? But yeah. I can even download books free from Anna's archive. Nice.
By significant price hikes and layoffs, harming both gamers and developers. As we've seen across sectors, increased
LibreOffice is pretty solid. Yeah, I've used it before. I used to use Linux. And I used to have LibreOffice on my old Linux PC.
Market consolidation and increasing prices often go hand in hand. As dominant firms become too big to care, they can make things worse for their customers without having to worry about the consequences. And that's exactly what happened in this instance. But cost isn't the only issue here, because Xbox as a company has gotten demonstrably shittier following their buyout of Activision Blizzard. As Andy Chalk of PC Gamer reports,
Yeah, like right now, the book that I'm attempting to tackle is called Taxation. It's a crash course on what is taxation and how it works. In a very tiny format to get me going so I can escalate and go into other books that are more longer. Cheers from Berlin. And Google Docs worked fine for me, but everyone else was using Office, so I had to. Gotcha.
the deal was closed in October of 2023, even though the FTC's legal action against it was still pending, and it's been one shitty thing after another since then. Just a few months after the deal was sealed, Microsoft laid off 1,900 workers at Activision Blizzard and Xbox, and they canceled the studio's long-awaited survival game. Then, in September of 2024, another 650 people were shown the door. That was followed by the layoff of 9,000 more employees across Microsoft in July.
Yeah, and that made big news, big splash, big splashes. And people were not happy about this. But of course, Microsoft being a billion-dollar company, or rather billions-dollar company, did not care.
2025, a spot of unpleasantness that also saw multiple game cancellations, the closure of the initiative, and knock-on impacts on other studios, even as Xbox boss Phil Spencer said the company's gaming business never looked stronger. So both consumers and developers were harmed in the immediate aftermath of this acquisition. And I'm not saying that all of these negative things wouldn't have happened had it not gone through, but the effect was obviously exacerbated by this acquisition. And guess what? This was something that was predicted by, you guessed it, Lina Khan. Here's what she said about the acquisition in an October 3rd interview.
I mean, we talked about the impact on game developers as well, right? One of the arguments in the case that we made was that Activision had been a platform neutral company. And as a result, game developers also had more pathways to kind of get to market. And one thing we argued was that if you allowed this merger to go through, it would basically allow Microsoft to become more of a walled garden. We may see more layoffs. We may see more price hikes. We may see kind of more degradation of certain games. And that just generally the way that competition encourages companies to kind of, just be fighting it out in the marketplace, that all of those factors.
Sorry. Just to be clear, companies don't want competition. Companies don't want competition. Contrary to popular belief, companies want mergers.
Would just make it so that Microsoft didn't have to try as hard. Even before the final appeals court had issued their opinion, Microsoft actually started announcing some of the layoffs, and the FTC was like sending letters to the court saying, they told you that they weren't going to do this, but guess what? They're already doing it.
So this is why her phrase, too big to care, is so accurate. But I'll admit, even I wasn't overly pessimistic about this acquisition because Activision Blizzard was already one of the worst companies in the gaming space whose CEO, Bobby Kotick, exploited employees and covered up alleged sexual abuse. And compared to Microsoft, whose reputation was better at the time due to the quality of Game Pass and in part because they were seen as the underdog when compared to Sony and Nintendo, it didn't seem like the worst thing in the world, and to a lot of gamers it was ostensibly a good thing if they were able to acquire Activision Blizzard. But it's important to remember that the cost of these acquisitions, they're very high, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There is no such thing as a free market.
And in order to offset that cost, these companies are going to make cuts in other places to make sure they get back to as high profits as they possibly can have. And the problem is that workers are almost always the first on the chopping block.
Yep. Again, this is just capitalism, right? This is not about really fundamentally this is like a capitalism issue, right? Like, never mind. Like, the topic is obviously like video games and how this is affecting the video game industry. But fundamentally, this is just like we're talking about capitalism.
After these companies make big purchases. And one of the other reasons why Xbox was able to avoid public scrutiny was because gamers were mostly focused on the anti-competitive element of this acquisition. And the fear was that they would make Call of Duty, which is owned by Activision Blizzard, an Xbox exclusive and cut off PlayStation to the franchise. So that turned out to be false. In fact, Xbox has ported many exclusives over
which doesn't make any sense. Like, Xbox wants more players. That's the goal. The goal is to get more players, and if that means going to PlayStation, then of course. I mean, they're even talking about giving Halo to PlayStation. We saw them dip their toes with this Helldivers ODST crossover. I can't wait for Halo to come to PS. I mean, Godspeed. I personally don't care. Halo should be played by... Halo is actually one of my favorite games. In fact, I have a whole thing back there. I'm a big Halo player. I've literally been playing since day one. Since Halo 1 2001, all the way up until now, Halo Infinite. In fact, I've actually decided to go the run through all of the Halos, and I've done 1 through 4 so far, and I just started Halo 5. I don't think I've ever done that like from start to finish, like back to back to back to back. So I decided to do that. Just from start to finish, all the campaigns. And right now I'm at Halo 5. I was 18 and drove down to GameStop at midnight. It was a 2-hour drive. Sheesh. Dear God, RFK said some dumbass shit. Circumcision does not lead to autism. Everything leads to autism to RFK. This is bizarre. This is so weird. Like, first it was the Tylenol. Now it's circumcision. Unreal. Halo 2 is the first game I ever pre-ordered. Yeah, my friend was the same. I didn't have the luxury, but, you know, one of us did. I bet those layoffs targeted LGBT people and other DEI sorts. It would not surprise me at all. Well, I mean, yeah, it would not surprise me at all. I never got into Halo, but I forget why. I think I was playing COD at the time, but frustrated with Halo's stupid button layout. It was not that bad, honestly. I mean, then again, I didn't play Call of Duty until much, much, much later. You've never played the Master Chief Collection? Go through the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got to play. Also, Halo 3 ODST is by far one of the best campaigns besides like the original ones. Halo ODST is definitely a must play. 100%.
PlayStation, like their new Indiana Jones games and even Gears of War. But that doesn't mean that all of the typical downsides that we always see with these mega mergers didn't materialize, because they in fact did. And this is always the case. And this is the lesson from this particular news story. Now, prior to the merger, both Microsoft and Activision Blizzard were arguing that this would actually be great for consumers because it opened up their catalog of games to Game Pass customers, which is awesome, right? Because we all loved Game Pass at the time. But Lina Khan also sniffed out that bullshit too when she was FTC chair.
One question that came up as we were pursuing the lawsuit to try to prevent the Microsoft Activision merger was this question of whether an independent Activision would have made its content available through subscription or cloud gaming services itself. And the trial suggested, yes, that they would have. And
again, it ended up with Microsoft playing themselves because nobody bought Call of Duty. It's on It's on Game Pass. Why would I pay Why would I pay $60 or $70 when I can just pay 20 or well, yeah, at this time until further notice, until those physical cards expire. $20, right? Well, I can just pay $20, get all the Call of Duty games, play the latest COD. You can even play online, even though it's not. It's streaming, so it's not the best, but it works. And that's it. Of course, people never bought any more Call of Duty games. Oh, 100%, Nadia. The idea that what RFK is saying is just delusional nonsense. I 100%. Halo 1 and 2 wore out so many Xbox controllers. That's the last time I owned an Xbox 20 years ago. Yeah, no, I stayed loyal to the Xbox brand simply and solely because of Halo. That was the only way at the time, obviously from Xbox to the 360 and beyond, to be able to play Halo with my friends. Now, I can just hop on the PC. In fact, it is very rare that I turn on my Xbox. I play more with this handheld PC than I do my Xbox now. Of course, once I'm done with a lot of these backlogs of games that I've had for God knows how long, I may be able to return to console, but yeah, no, I'm sticking with PC for a minute, or at least PC, Xbox, Steam. I used to play COD on a modded Wii. No. Just make sure you dust out your console every once in a while. Yep. That's true. Got hooked on God of War and Demon's Souls, so I ended up with a PS3. I actually never have played God of War. Never played it.
Both, executives admitted that yes, if they could make the commercial terms work, they would. And so you can imagine a situation in which if Microsoft had actually been more constrained in the market by other players by other firms that also had, big gaming libraries, would they have been able to do this? It will be interesting to see if they have to backtrack here, but the series of price hikes that they've done suggests they feel pretty emboldened.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from a gaming perspective, there really is no competitor in the cloud space. And at the time of your lawsuit, I think the court ruled
there is no competitor like Microsoft right now. After the fall of Google Stadia, there really isn't anything like the xCloud. I've used it for a while. Again, I literally played a lot of the Master Chief Collection on my phone with just this wireless controller. All I had to pack for my trip, was this. That's it. This is all I had to pack, and that's it. I had all I needed right here. Computers are very woke. You are to respect God and Christianity. Your favorite president, Donald Trump. Yeah, also feel free to join the Discord, folks. Maybe I can set up a gaming channel. To for those folks that want to play something. I don't know. You guys like playing Animal Crossings, whatever it is. It's there for you. So I think if people want a gaming channel, I can make one up in a jiffy and just put that on the Discord. I find it funny how God of War still used to test device stability to run ROMs Like, how does the device support PS4 ROMs but struggle with God of War? That's nuts.
Nascent industry that they didn't think it was a big enough deal. But as it becomes more and more important, it's very clear that there is nobody challenging them. And so they can raise prices at will. So yeah, that is what gamers are noticing.
So basically every single thing that Lina Khan predicted came to fruition, not because she has a crystal ball, but because this is a predictable pattern of behavior for corporations motivated exclusively by capital. They don't care about consumers at all. There's no such thing.
Right, because they don't have to. Like, the point isn't to care about consumers. The point is to make money, okay? The point is to deliver. The point is to deliver value for their shareholders. That's it. Okay, so even if you don't care about, like, video games or whatnot, the conversation around capitalism is still valid. Didn't Discord have a data leak not too long ago? Yep, about 2 million, I want to say. I don't know. It was a nice data leak. AT&T did? Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a minute and a half ago.
As an altruistic business, Xbox was never planning to keep Game Pass costs low, especially after they acquired so many fucking companies. They weren't just like gonna eat the cost because they're a great company who cares about gamers. They were gonna pass that cost on to you. It was inevitable, and they're trying to make that money back by milking you for everything that you've got.
Yeah, and like they could have just done that like in a different way that wouldn't have been as anti-consumer, but, you know, whatever. They're not in the business to care. They're not in the business to care about what you think. Unless what you think is how much money you're going to give them. That's why Valve is different. They're not in the stock market. Yeah, and also Valve is really a hub, right? Valve is not necessarily like Microsoft, right? Valve is like a hub. They kind of, you know, carved this space out with Steam, and they're like basically they're like a hub, right? Like a Netflix almost. Shareholders are reasons why we can't have nice things. True. Whether you like gaming or any type of hobby, anything that involves anything that you like, yeah, capitalism eventually will ruin it if it gets to that point.
At least that's what they're going to try to do, assuming like they don't go under because so many people are now canceling their service. And it's just really unfortunate that we no longer have a regulator like Lina Khan in a position of power to rein in these corporate giants, because that would be helpful at a time when there are so many acquisitions and mergers taking place. But one thing that I do appreciate because of this story is that gamers are now starting to realize how important the work that she was doing at the FTC was. And she says that they're sending her flowers now as a result, metaphorically speaking. But listen to what she says.
I fully remember the general consensus of the gaming community around the time of this lawsuit was that the FTC's lawsuit was frivolous and that Activision Blizzard's a failing company. Microsoft will prop them up and save them and bring back all the great games we love and help the employees do good things. And that was the general idea. And people thought, oh, I'd love to get Call of Duty for a cheap price on Game Pass. And I remember all of the comments being mostly positive for this. And now, as the layoffs continue, the new games haven't been what were promised and the prices go up, people do understand what you were saying. And so I hope we can like help hammer that home for future situations like this. People can remember they got burned before. This is a relevant example. Yeah, that
totally.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes the way I learn that Microsoft is doing another price hike or layoffs is that gamers start posting like apologies to me on Twitter, and that's how I learn. I'm like, oh, I guess Microsoft must have raised the price again.
And she's not lying.
Yep. Thinking about getting a Steam Deck in the future. I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you live on Steam, if you live on Steam and have a lot and have a big Steam library, then yeah, I would say probably a Steam Deck. But if you have like a very spread out library, then I would say probably um I would say just get like used a used or open box uh um if I may, a used or open box handheld, like one of these things, like a Z1. Look, this ROG Ally, okay, it's a couple years old. This is the Z1 Extreme. It's a couple years old. You can probably find it open box for relatively cheap. Just pop in a new, a larger drive on it. Forget that micro SD cards exist, and it's a pretty cheap solution that would be within Steam Deck prices. Used, and you have a Windows 11 PC. Eventually, Microsoft is going to port over that kind of full screen experience over to these kind of handhelds. So you won't have to deal with the clunkiness of Windows, but that is an option if you're not like on a Steam platform. Otherwise, like yeah, just get a Steam Deck. I like what Steam did with the Steam Deck. I also respect the use of Linux and its repairability, but it's not that powerful. No, it's not that powerful, but it's powerful enough. It's powerful enough. I live between Steam and Nintendo. Oh, then yeah, get a Steam Deck. You don't even have to like, I would say that the OLED's probably the best bet. But yeah, I mean the Steam Deck is a pretty affordable and pretty powerful handheld that. Of course, it's not gonna like handle all like the latest and greatest AAA games at like 60 frames per second, but you'll get a lot out of a Steam Deck. So yeah, definitely in your situation, if you live mostly on Steam and Nintendo, then yeah, Steam Deck would probably be good. And if you wait, if it's not that important to you. They're eventually going to make another Steam Deck. That's probably going to come out in a couple of years. So there you go. Torn between a Steam Deck or PS5, it depends. If you're like a console gamer and you don't really need, if you don't need to take all this stuff with you, the PS5 is a good freaking choice. The PS5 is a good choice if you're just like a console gamer that hangs out in the couch, or hangs out and plays video games on the bed or in the couch, then yeah, PS5 probably. But if you're like a more PC gamer that likes to take their stuff on the go, definitely the Steam Deck would be the one. Steam Deck is actually a very good budget option comparing with the Legion Go handheld. Yeah, the Legion Go is kind of. I mean, the Legion Go S with Steam OS is not a bad choice either, because you get Steam OS, you get the Z1 Extreme chip, which can handle. This is the same chip on the ROG, the old Ally, right? The Z1 Extreme, not the original Ally, but the Ally, not the X, but the Ally with the Z1 Extreme. Yeah, the Legion Go S with the Z1 Extreme is pretty not that bad. And it comes with Steam OS. So, I mean, that's another option if you don't like Windows. Even the Legion Go that comes with Windows 11. No, like the Go S, not the other one. You can have Linux on your handheld, absolutely. You can have Bazite. You can have SteamOS. You can put SteamOS on it, which I think is Arch Linux. But yeah, you don't need Windows technically, unless you play certain games that require anti-cheat, then it doesn't matter. The only reason I have Windows is because of Halo.
lying. If you look at the replies to her tweet about Microsoft, the largest one is a meme of people lining up to apologize to her, and others vocalize the same sentiment. Sorry, Lena, you were right. Game Pass in Brazil increased by 100%. Sorry, Lena, we were blind. Fuck Activision and Xbox. You were a hero. I just couldn't see it back then. I apologize. Lena Khan was right about everything.
Oh my God.
Sorry times 1,000. Forgive us for not believing in you. Hey, so funny thing. Forgive me. You were always right, but nobody wanted to listen. And that's just a few examples, but some gamers who couldn't fight through the cognitive dissonance were actually attacking her because she was FTC chair and they claimed that she didn't do enough to fight Microsoft. I mean, Trump fired her back in February. She no longer has a job there and she did everything that she could. So the fact that you would blame her for this is absurd. But at least the honest people are understanding that she was right about everything and nobody wanted to listen. Like, she was actually trying to stop gaming from getting even shittier, which is important because the trajectory of this industry has been bleak for quite some time. And anybody who's been following news of this industry knows that. And I would highly encourage you to watch that full interview with Atrioc that she did, because she also talks about antitrust in general. It's very informative, and she even touches on the Jared Kushner Saudi Arabia acquisition of EA, which is another gaming company that once gobbled up a bunch of other companies. So it's a complete mess, but keep in mind that corporate consolidation is just one of many reasons why prices are on.
That happened. Like EA now is now owned by like a by private equity that has investment from Jared Kushner in Saudi Arabia. So cool. Ubuntu, that's fair. Legion was like half the price of my handheld at the time with same specs with more hardware. It came out like a month after my purchase. I was so pissed. Oof. Not meant to be xenophobic, but Brazilian gamers are toxic against the community. No, I have no idea. Not nobody. The entire left. Welcome, Seth Evans.
The rise in gaming. Xbox also raised the cost of consoles twice this year, and their flagship system, which is the Xbox Series X, is now $650.
I literally bought it. I literally bought it for like 100 and something dollars less. Like I literally bought it for less than $600. Like that is wild. I can literally flip I can literally flip my Xbox Series X and make money off it. Which is wild.
It was $500 back in 2020 when it launched, and I, for one, am old enough to remember console prices going down over the course of their lifespan, but these days, they're going up. But Microsoft is by no means the only offender here, because PlayStation also announced the price hike thanks to Donald Trump's tariffs, which gamers were also warned about, by the way, and companies are still finding other ways to nickel and dime consumers.
Yep.
EA, for example, just released their free-to-play Skate game in early access, and if you want to play as a cardboard version of the protagonist from Dead Space, you have to pony up $35 for this cosmetic change. And as this Twitter account points out, it's $40 if you want the entire Dead Space bundle with the skateboard and stickers and whatnot. And let's not forget about Nintendo raising the cost of games like Mario Kart World to $80. And if you want to experience all of what Donkey Kong Bonanza has to offer, which is a phenomenal game, you've got to pay $90.
And like, I'm sorry, but that's not like, no. I'm sorry, no. Like it's wild that Nintendo looks like the better option versus the way Microsoft has been handling this situation recently. Well, Cenk Uygur said private equity is fine. Dude, can you picture that TYT today was actually its natural progression? I think Michael Brooks was keeping at his head straight, and end up changing may have triggered Cenk's old conservative tendencies. I have no idea what happened today on TYT. I genuinely don't know because I don't watch TYT. I'm gonna be honest. Activision really led the way in terms of excessive cosmetic purchases in their games. And to think this all started with all these micro transactions started with horse armor. The genesis of it all. Linux has kind of settled into a rut. I think Haiku, Zircon, Fuchsia, Redox are likely better ways to go. I've never used any of these. I've used Linux, certain variants of Linux, including Ubuntu, Mint, Windows, obviously. Yeah. I'm making motherfucking brownies hockey tonight. Nice. Welcome, Eager. Welcome, and enjoy.
Total 70 for the base game and another 20 for the optional DLC that they could have easily released with the game, but they didn't do that because now they're making more money off of you.
Slow news day? No. It's just we gotta cover, important topics. We can't let important topics slip by like gaming,
They're already getting $70 from you. It's just like a complete mess, but this is capitalism. It saps all life and joy out of everything in order to maximize profits. It's why we see so many sequels and remakes, because reselling us successful franchises that they already sold to us a million times is less risky than giving us new franchises.
Yep. It's just safe. Sarcasm. Yeah, I mean, it's, Yeah, the FTC tried to kill this Microsoft acquisition is doing told you so victory laps. Yep. Ubuntu is a more streamlined Debian. Oh, that's a name I haven't heard. In a minute. TYT recently defended Stephen Miller. I mean, like, that right there is enough. If that right there is enough. For me, and criticized AOC ignoring their own history or the fact that Fox Host and Eclipse did the same thing and wasn't called out for it. That's my latest TYT news. My goodness, how far we've fallen. Lots of NHL teams having their centennial this year. Already bought some jerseys. Nice. I'm not a big sports fan, so I mean, this is all informative to me. You think the Rapture was off by like a month and we're coming up on a new opportunity for Rapture? Yeah, possibly. I still can't believe a woman with a super Armenian name appears on a show named for the Tanzimat Ottoman political party responsible for the Armenian genocide. I'll never watch anything named the Young Turks. I mean, that's fair. Like, honestly, like, it's not... there's nothing there at this point. It's wild. I'm Canadian. My Vancouver Canucks are... Hey, come back. Are on tonight. The Brownies are in when we lose. Nice. MSNBC is to the left of TYT these days. Yeesh. How the mighty have fallen indeed. Welcome, Ladybug.
That gamers might not be receptive to. Capitalism incentivizes these companies to feed us the safest, most sanitized, formulaic slop in order to appease shareholders because they're too afraid to take any risks. And on that note, we just learned this from journalist Stephen Totillo. Last year, Ubisoft canceled an Assassin's Creed game set during Reconstruction, was to feature a black assassin who, among other things, fought the clan's rise. Sources say leadership nixed it, concerned with U.S. political climate and Yasuke backlash. Yasuke, for those that don't know, is a black character featured in the last Assassin's Creed that gamers threw temper tantrums about. So, so much for DEI killing art, right? Turns out racism is what's really killing art. But me saying that is blasphemy to gamers because a lot of them are reactionary and anti-representation and pro-Trump, and they don't understand how their political philosophy is killing the hobby that we all enjoy so much. But with regard to Assassin's Creed, it's actually really sad that they canceled that project because I actually would have been interested in that. I used to enjoy Assassin's Creed games, but just kind of lost interest over time.
I mean, I would have played that. I would have played that 100%. I would have played. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game, but I would have played that game. Michael Hasser, welcome. Think of all the games getting dead because of EA acquisition too. Rip Mass Effect. Oof. Last Assassin's Creed game I played was Black Flag. If I were to buy an Assassin's Creed game, I want to own that one. Yeah, 100%. I would play that game. Like, I've never played Assassin's Creed, but I would play that game simply because of the politics, right? Like, I mean, who doesn't want to go and go after KKK members in the antebellum South? That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. Most of the games that I've played do have some kind of political message. Most
They all
art
started
is.
to feel like soulless cash grabs after a while. But I mean, that's what happens. They, introduce something that's successful and then they milk it and beat it into the ground, and then nobody cares anymore because, them milking franchises is just the safest bet. But, we're not going to get that now. We're not going to experience that because leadership is too afraid to take a risk. And it's because, that might hurt profitability. They
Yep.
think that offending racists hurts profitability potentially, which is a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, it's
why did they get offended by everything? Thought they were the tough ones. Yeah, turns out. I think I own one, but the Xbox died before I could play it. Then I had to put the new one into storage, and it could be a broken, dud for all I know. Oof. Breaking news: Trump thinks habeas corpus is a person. You can send me that link? That's kind of funny.
to how art and creativity are stifled under capitalism. But reactionary gamers, they're never going to acknowledge that, which is so frustrating to me. I wish that they would acknowledge how their own ideology is undermining the thing that they love so much, the thing that we all love so much. They're probably going to
Trump
keep
thinks
blaming
habeas
industry.
corpus is a city in Texas. That's what they discussed. That's what they did to The Walking Dead.
Goes
Yep.
on representation and DEI instead of the main culprit, which is capitalism. But until they wake the fuck up, things are only going to continue to get worse, and the industry will keep being the dumpster fire that it is.
Oh my god. Yeah, you can send me that. I mean, this doesn't surprise me at all. Not funny with the red ring of death and the 360. No, just send it to me like whisper. Imagine your console these days is dying for no apparent reason 2 to 3 times a year. Oof. Yeah, no, I think that was horrible. The whisper didn't work. Why not? Let me see. All right, there you go. See if you can reply to that. Maybe that'll do it. You're telling the truth. I thought it was a joke. No. This is 100% the timeline that we live in. Yeah, I see it. All right, cool. Yeah, I see it. Now just copy, paste it. Excellent. Mac agrees with you, Abius. Oh. That's too funny. Oh man, we really live in like the worst timeline, because like we have stuff like this. Meanwhile, like ICE officers are assaulting like Catholic priests. We have stuff like this. Did Trump think habeas corpus is a person? The internet is in tears. Donald Trump looked visibly agitated when asked about a Latin legal term during a White House roundtable. I mean, it's not just like a Latin legal term. It's like one of the most important stuff. One of the most foundational things about. Anyways, Trump was meeting with conservative influencers in the state dining room to discuss the movement called Antifa. Antifa, have you heard about them? A reporter asked if he'd ever consider suspending habeas corpus, which is a court order that commands someone holding a person in detention to bring that person before the court. This law deals with the so-called insurrectionists and speeds up deportations of undocumented immigrants. Have you given any more thought to possibly suspending habeas corpus to not only deal with the insurrectionists across the nation, but also to continue rapidly deporting illegal aliens? Obviously, this is a far-right person. As per the Daily Beast, Donald Trump seemed puzzled and asked, suspending who? I don't know. I'd rather leave that to Christie. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Canada's news is boring, so this is why I'm here at 18 to Friends Are Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. He honestly doesn't know what habeas corpus is. Nope. See you soon. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Gamers are such terrible people. I wouldn't be caught dead anywhere near a video game anymore. There was a point where I still had a job in 2007 and 8, but sidelined by MRSA. When someone on the game console kept to keep me from getting too bored while stoned on painkillers and in pain despite them, the politics hadn't taken over, but they were anti-LGBT teenagers who were very annoying. Oh, I mean, like, back in the day, it was, back in the day, it was bad. I mean, it's still bad, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, like, back in the day, like, around those time frames, like, you would get on Call of Duty, or rather, I mean, I don't know, but you would get on a lobby, right? That's the first game that came to mind. But you would get on a lobby, and it would just be like nonstop slurs. Like, it would just literally be nonstop slurs. Nowadays, it's not really like that. It's really funny because, like, well, it's not funny, but you get my point. But it's ironic, I guess is the right word, that a lot of these games, they have left wing lessons, right? Like, back in like 2001, I used to play this game called Red Faction. Literally, like, it would be about literally the game Red Faction is about a resistance led by a woman and a black person it's a resistance of minors who were being abused by this mining company, and you would get together and fight back against the evil mining corporation called Ultron or something like that. It was literally, the original Red Faction was literally a rebellion that was led by a woman and a black person. Okay, so I mean, like, dude, this was 2001. The whole BioShock, miners with the E, in BioShock, which was around that era, 2007, 2008. BioShock was literally a criticism. It was a criticism of libertarianism. It was a criticism of Ayn Rand. That was the purpose of BioShock. And yet, like, the wrong lessons were learned here. It's like the same, like, it's like far right people liking Helldivers, right? It's like far right people liking Helldivers. Like, no, they're making fun of you, dude. It's a satire game of you. It's a satire of fascism. It's like Starship Troopers. But it just doesn't goes over their heads. Yeah, it's like far right people liking Rage Against the Machine. I mean, there's literally videos of these MAGA people dancing to Rage Against the Machine while wearing Blue Lives Matter. I wish I was making this up. I wish I was making this up, but there is video of MAGA people dancing to Rage Against the Machine while wearing a Blue Lives Matter flag. I literally couldn't make it up if I wanted to. There's literally video of that. It's just wild. Yeah, I know. Tom Morello doesn't give a shit. Those checks still clear. Libertarians are just neo-Nazis with not a very convincing cover story. No doubt about it. You talk to them long enough. You talk to them long enough, and yeah, the mask eventually comes off about what they really want. Harvard poli-sci major Tom Morello. Stupidity may be the most powerful force in the universe. True. Well, some of this is appropriation rather than not understanding the source content. Yeah, I guess so. Like I mean, libertarianism right there. Libertarianism used to be associated with, and it was originally like a left-wing ideology. But libertarianism, as it stands today, is just like a co-opted ideology by the far right. Restream bot still alive, supposedly. Libertarian racism speedrun is a game I like to play. Dude, they were so mad when they found out that Rage Against the Machine stood politically. Yeah, it's like people that they like. Have you not listened to any of their words? It's like you know, like, say what you will about Green Day. Personally, I love Green Day, but you know, these people got really mad at Green Day for being, quote, political. They took good parts of libertarianism and went, age of consent. I mean, like, that's part of it, yes. But yeah, they kind of twisted and warped it from the original. I mean, they just basically took the name because it sounds good, much like how the Nazis took the name socialists to try to pretend that they were some kind of working class party. You know how the old saying goes. I wish I could. Would YouTube strike me if I sing? Because some people have said that if I sing it, if I sing the record, if I sing the words, it'll catch me. Bite my lip and close my eyes. You will get caught for UMG shit like that. It's absurd. Yeah, well, that's all you get, guys. Modern libertarians and ANCAPs, how much meaningful difference at that all you find in practice? None. If you talk to the extent that libertarians still exist, if you talk to a libertarian and you talk to an ANCAP, they're the same. Corporate needs to find the difference between these two pictures. They're the same. You run the risk of a strike. My live got jettisoned, got yeeted off the internet yesterday. I have to go trim out the part that YouTube didn't like. But yesterday, my live stream got jettisoned. I don't know why. It said some kind of copyright stuff, but maybe it was like that Fox News segment. I don't know. It was for some reason. Oh, that's strange. It was it was supposed to be copyright free. I'm actually going to dispute this. What? All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm disputing that. Anyways. My 7 string soon. Nice. Good luck, Eager. Oh, I see. Yeah. There you go. Einstein was pretty much a socialist as far as I can tell. Yep. Old Al Hooten. Welcome. Argentinian president is an ANCAP, and look how bad it's been for his country. Yep. Does they hate the word nonce? Probably. That was probably the issue. I don't know. Whatever. Twitch and YouTube and all these things always have like these things. But I mean, well, no, it seems to have gone through, right? Or maybe the quotations help. Yep, he explicitly identified as a socialist, if I remember correctly, but much like MLK and all the other people, America pretends it, always considers its heroes, whitewashing history. You never hear about that. Yep. Oh, I think that's what it is. But see, it doesn't even, it says bullying. It says allow for bullying. Look at that. It's funny. It says it's bullying. Okay, whatever. It doesn't even say like any explicit, it says bullying. Holding for bullying. Whatever. The Autobot tends to see things that aren't there. Anyways, someone said something about Argentina. Argentina, the ANCAP, it says what is bullying? It says pedo, or I guess the reference to pedo, as bullying. That's funny. I don't know why the Automod does that. Someone could have spite reported you. Yeah, probably. I believe T soon. Soon may. Oh wait, am I gonna get got for that too? AOC bullied Stephen Miller. Yeah, you guys have to check that out. I think you can check it out on the Majority Report. There's no way that someone owns the weatherman soon. Okay, then maybe that's a copyright free thing. To bring some sugar and tea and rum. I like that song. He's only 410 though. I love it. Believe these nuts. Anyways, the ANCAP experiment is going so well. We need to bail them out. Yeah. I'm letting it through because it's nonsense. It's saying that It's saying that these are terms for bullying, but it's obviously not. But whatever. Anyways, the point being is, yeah, Automat is being kind of aggressive. U.S. buys Argentine pesos, agrees to 20 billion swap line. Wow, we're doing so great. The great ANCAP experiment. Look at that. The U.S. government purchased Argentine pesos and finalized a 20 billion currency swap framework with Argentina's central bank. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on Thursday, sending the peso and Argentine dollar bonds sharply higher. The U.S. Treasury is prepared immediately to take whatever exceptional measures are warranted to provide stability to the markets. For Argentina, of course. Argentina's 2035 bond rose 4.6 cents to trade at 60.58 cents on the dollar, while the peso closed at 1,425 per dollar. Jesus Christ, up 0.8% of the day following the sessions of managed weakness with intervention from the Argentine Treasury. Bessent issued a statement at the end of 4 days meetings with Argentine Finance Minister Luis Caputo, and also involved officials from the IMF, which in April granted Argentina a 20 billion loan program. Bessent said that Caputo had informed him of his close coordination with the IMF and on Argentina's reform commitments, adding Argentina's policies, which anchored on fiscal discipline, are sound. Its exchange rate band remains fit for purpose. Yeah, cool. Everything's going so great. That we needed to bail out them to the tune of $20 billion. So cool. The various auto filters that YouTube seems to have in place seems to be very, very sensitive to anything that would offend a effing Nazi. Yeah. Yeah. So that's cool. Illinois judge blocks federal authorities from using force against Chicago journalists. So that's nice. A federal judge in Illinois has barred federal agents from using force or threatening to arrest journalists in Chicago as the White House continues to send troops to the city amid President Trump's national street crime crackdown. No, let's like stop. This is like this is annoying that the mainstream, like we, of course, here, we're going to obviously give the correct analysis on this, and call out every time mainstream media does this. But yeah, stop giving credence to the premise that this is about street crime or about like law and order. Okay. Like stop talking about this as if there's any credibility to the idea that this is about law and order. The temporary restraining order came just days after Chicago journalists and protesters sued senior White House officials, including Trump, Attorney General Bondi, Kristi Noem, and arguing that the government had prevented the press, elected officials, religious leaders, and civilians engaged in peaceful protests from exercising their First Amendment rights. Videos have circulated in recent days of federal agents shooting tear gas and other riot control weapons at protesters, and city officials say towards officers from the Chicago Police Department. There's literally evidence of this. You can see the videos. This is very, 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 very explicit out there. You can see it. So that's cool. Whether or not these federal officers will obey this judge ruling is yet to be seen. Is yet to be seen. To the point, you can't even simply describe an event in plain English. Full Nazification of the internet is in progress. I mean, it's certainly companies are always going to capitulate to fascism. It's a tale as old as time. It's a tale as old as time. Capitalism always capitulates to fascism. Always happens. They always bend the knee. Politico was the same. Who smeared Bernie? Take those articles with a grain of salt. Well, I mean, no, like the stuff happened, right? Like the judge ruling happened. The ICE officials attacking people happened. It's just that you have to, as you mentioned, like you have to correct it, so that the framing is right. So wherever the framing gets a little loose, we are here to tighten it up. That's our job. That's our job, to make sure that the media analysis is correct when mainstream media tries to mealy mouth what's actually happening. So like it doesn't mean like, just discard every article that you see. It means that you have to read it with the special filter, if that makes sense, right? Who do you think excels at capitalism, white supremacists? They're the most willing to sacrifice others for their upward mobility. I mean, yeah, but also it kind of creates this this kind of inward flaw that inevitably implodes, right? Like capitalism in decline and capitalism in crisis leads to fascism. And one could say for this very reason. You kind of have to be, not necessarily like explicitly like white supremacist, but you kind of have to be that guy, right? To sacrifice people, because that's what you do to become a billionaire, right? And incidentally, a lot of those billionaires are also tend to be very far right. So yeah, corporate fascism tends to benefit corporations. They think so. And to the short term, it does. In the short term, it does. Until the government takes it over because whatever. Also on Monday, Illinois and Chicago sued to stop the administration from deploying the National Guard troops to the city. A decision, the lawsuit is expected imminently. So yeah, you have a bad faith game of the right works, because they know they can count on a complicit media to play stupid in ways they can take advantage for unassuming, uninformed audiences, right? And that's kind of like where we have to kind of show up and explain, right? Like that was a perfect example, right? Like to say that this is that this is about street crime, like, is a disservice, right? So yeah, that's kind of our job. It's all about the short term. That's right. I look at crime numbers in Chicago. They're through the roof. What crime numbers is he looking at? It's unclear, because that's just not true. And I have a governor who stands up every day and tells us how wonderful Chicago is. It's like a con job. Sure. And are we like, see, this is how we know this is a disservice, because under here, we would have, because some articles will tell you, but in this case, we would have the official statistics. We would have the crime statistics, because it's not that hard to look up. And obviously what Trump is saying is a lie. You could literally like look up the statistics. So when articles like this just kind of paint over that, it really does do a disservice. But the point being is that like the central story is true, right? Like there is a lawsuit happening, and that lawsuit is important to keep track of. That's really the purpose of this. Now, from a media analysis point, that's what I would say. Right until they remember that squelching human life is actually bad for the economy. I bet his staff feeds Trump AI Slav videos such as crime in Oregon. Yeah, I mean, like that has to be, that has to be what's happening, right? Because like, man, I don't know. He's just, but he's been like this like for a while. Like the dude talks about like completely delusional stuff, and everybody goes with it. Gentle and Mussolini meant something different by corporate in La Doctrina de Fascismo. Oh, actually, I should probably read this. The way they use it makes it clear it's not a firm or a business itself. Yeah, I think I showed this yesterday, but I'll just show I'll just show this real quick. The war ravaged Portland. Let's check in and see what's going on in the war zone in Portland. Yeah, war ravaged Portland. I keep calling him Hitler, but he was almost more the deuce. They're eating the pets. They're eating the dogs. Let's check in with our with a meeting of the minds that happened on a. They literally had to have a roundtable on Antifa. Oh, that's good. I'm glad it's short because yeah, that actually would be very useful to read. Just to kind of have a just to kind of have that in my back pocket.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having us here today and holding this
Yeah, it's so scary. Got to send in the military.
this roundtable. Antifa is real. Antifa has been around in various iterations for almost 100 years in some instances, going back to the Weimar Republic in Germany.
Quick question, and this is just of the rhetorical variety, but what was happening in 1930 Germany? What could possibly be happening in 1930s Germany that would elicit a response and fly under the banner of Antifaschistische Aktion? Huh. Not a one, not a vowel. Can we buy a vowel? What was happening during that time? It was also to be noted that Antifa, when it was created or established or whatever you want to call it, when it spawned in 1932, it also didn't have official memberships or anything like that because it was just a anti-fascist movement. That's what it was. It was literally Antifaschistische Aktion, meaning anti-fascist action. The Netherlands, out of all places. Yikes. The day after Trump in Hungary did followed shortly after. Yikes.
And it's now been just under 1 month since we saw a far leftist murder Charlie Kirk.
This has not been proven. This is a lie. This is a blatant lie. There is no proof that this was a far leftist who, quote, murdered Charlie Kirk. Hey.
Thousands of people, other far leftists. We saw Kirk murder Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, this is a complete fabrication. This is a lie. We don't know we still don't know actually what the motivations were. We have not seen anything. We have not heard anything else. This trial hasn't even started. To say that this was definitively a far leftist is a lie. And he knows that. He's doing it on purpose. Why are you stating the obvious? What does that mean? Obvicious. What does that mean? Why am I stating the obvious? That doesn't make any sense. Is it like obvious that he's lying?
Kirk, and we saw thousands upon thousands of people, other far leftists and people in positions of authority, people like nurses and pilots and doctors
Positions of authority like nurses and pilots and doctors.
and HR departments celebrating the death and the murder of Charlie Kirk. This sickness that's out there is absolutely real. And Mr. President,
Yeah, this guy's 100% like a Nazi fascist. 100%.
thank you for mentioning the fact that one of the bullet casings read, "Hey fascist, catch" on it.
Yeah, which is a reference to a video game where you are playing as the fascist. And this is so irony-pilled that sometimes in deeply online Groyper-type communities, they'll call the enemy the fascist. They don't mean fascist as in like fascist. They mean enemy. And again, Hey Fascist Catch was part of Helldivers, which is a video game where you are the fascist. And you are describing the enemy as a fascist when you yourself are playing as a fascist. So there's a lot of wordplay here. There's a lot of layers, irony layers, that only someone who is versed in these would know.
Mr. President.
So yeah, I mean, like this is the kind of stuff that we're watching from the administration. Yeah, Trump calls the far left fascist. Right. Like this is the exact same thing I'm talking about the wordplay. I think the leading suspect is Netanyahu, based mainly on the fact that he went out of his way to deny it several times and who he is. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's like it's not. It just doesn't track to me. It is as likely that this is some Groyper versus TPUSA fallout as well. To me. Or maybe this dude just really didn't like Charlie Kirk. It is quite possible that that's just the simple explanation, is that he just didn't really like this guy. I don't know. To me, my first, like, if we're talking, like, if this is like some kind of political motivation, I would put some stock. Of course, we don't know, but I would put some stock in this being some kind of. I talked about this like 5 years ago. Of this Groyper TPUSA fallout, and these Groyper people are very terminally online, and they very much hate Charlie Kirk. I mean, like, this is very, very, very plausible. If this is going to be like some type of political like motivation that we end up finding, but reality is we just don't know. Assuming that we get a trial, I would like to see everything that comes out. I mean, some of the evidence also is kind of weird. It's kind of weird and suspect, but I don't know. I wonder if there's any badges that even know about the Groyper Kirk feud. I mean, like, I knew. I talked about it. I even gave a warning about this. Ernst Hamann of the Communist Party of Deutschland founded Antifaschistische Aktion on 26th of 1932. There you go. It's 1932. Yep. Hey, man, do you support Palestine? Oof. Oof. Of course. Of course I support the Palestinian people. They're being genocided. Only monsters would look at a genocide and just kind of look away. There we are. He already got criticized for doing too little too late. Oh yeah, like the Groypers really didn't like Charlie Kirk because yeah. Do you think Zionists are bad? Yes. What are you talking about? They're the ones doing a genocide. Like why is this like this isn't the conversation? I don't get it. Do you think Zionists are bad? Yes. They do. They're literally responsible for a genocide that's happening right now. Anyways. Yeah, look, I had my my history pretty good. 1932. Boom. Yeah, why would you think an ethno state is something good? Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're just a piece of shit. Get out of here. Where is this guy? Yeah, you're just a piece of shit. Get out of here. That statement is banned from the platform. Is it? Not calling anyone anything. I'm making a broad statement on what I believe on the ideology. Yeah, boring. Like, dude, just go be like a gross genocide apologist somewhere else. So gross. I don't think you can call Zio bad. I remember when the new policy came out to delete every mention of Zionism for chat for a few days. I mean, look, nail me to a cross, okay? Nail me to a cross, okay? I believe that genocide and ethnic and an ethno state is bad. And that's exactly what this person was arguing for before they got booted. Like, you can't say that you are supporting Palestinian people as they're getting genocided, but like in the same breath say that you're a Zionist because you think that Jewish people deserve a place to live. Like, no one's saying that like Jewish people don't deserve like a place to live. The problem is that no one's taking that away from them. They're just literally genociding people for more land. That's what's happening. As for using Zionism as a slur, yeah, exactly. I'm not using it as a slur. I'm just describing an ideology and saying it's gross. You didn't have to go to YouTube, dude. I want you to fuck off. Instead of acting like a baby. Yeah, I know. I know. Being anti-genocide is acting like a baby nowadays. I know. How do you even use it as a slur? I need examples. Nope. I'm not taking that bait. I meant Ernest Thälmann founding anti-fascist action was a little too late. Oh, okay, yeah, he soft-pedaled it for too long because the SPD thinks it was and thwarted 1918 revolution. Gotcha. There we go. The SPD was pretty much like the US's Democrats. Gotcha. All right, we're back, folks. Just in time, though, because we got to get out of here. It is a bit past 7 o'clock. But yeah, like, look, advocating for an ideology that is based around, like, creating an ethno-state is bad, okay? I don't care. It's just bad. And the fact that, like, that you're just, like, paving over the genocide of Palestinian people to center it around, like, some grievance that doesn't exist, because like this is literally a white nationalist argument, right? I think that X people should deserve a place to live as well as the as well as the Y people. Does that make me a bad person? I think all people deserve their own place. Like, I can literally substitute that argument with like a white nationalist argument. So like, yeah, I'm good on that. I don't do nationalist fascist arguments. Get out of here with that nonsense. All right, folks, it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate all of you hanging out here. Thank you. Thank you to Michael Hassler for modding the chat. Appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you for the new follows and all that awesome stuff and your support and your subscriptions and all that. Thank you. Yeah, the whole earth is there for Jewish people, just like everyone else. Yeah, I mean, like, exactly. Like, look, it's the same argument, right? Like, oh, I'm not a white nationalist. I just want a place for all white people. Like, why can't that be the same for all like black people? And everyone should have their own place. But it's the same argument. Okay, it's literally the same argument. Ethno-states are bad. Okay. If you want to support the channel directly, do all the stuff, folks. Check out the merch store. Hit the exclamation mark tips, Substack, Discord, and this space, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Nobody had objections to people shopping for real estate like anyone else. Yep. Yeah, no, the whole thing is just like disgusting. Like from beginning to end, like this idea of Zionism and what really it entails It's just disgusting. All of it. It's bad. Anyways, once again, folks, thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you guys. We'll be back on Monday at around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all for your support again. Thank you. It's time for me to get out of here. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Yep. The theocracies are also bad too because they are exclusionary. Yeah. Relax, guy. Relax. See ya. Look at that. Pro streamer moment. I got everything on point. All right, hang tight, folks. Hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye.